How does Daniel's story in the Bible applies to us today when it comes to our eating habits? That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. For those who don't know me, I am Anne-Laure. I am passionate about the Bible and about health. I believe that God is telling all His children to not ignore the health message that is found in His Word, the Bible, so that we can have a clear mind and better worship Him. I am also a health and wellness and life coach. On this channel, I share videos about what the Bible says regarding diet and health. I share health information and healthy recipes. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you won't miss any of my future videos. The Bible gives us a brief account of the life of Daniel, which encourages Christians who might suffer trials and temptations. Daniel had a test of faithfulness where food was involved, just like Adam and Eve. In Daniel chapter 1, we learn that children in whom was no blemish, but well-favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. They were carried into captivity by the king of Babylon. Among them was Daniel, a holy young man of God, and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The king Nebuchadnezzar wanted to prepare them for the important positions in his kingdom. They had to learn the language of the Chaldeans, and they had to follow courses of physical and intellectual discipline during 3 years. A test came upon these young men. To give them a great mental and physical development, the king thought he was doing them a favor by providing the meat and the wine that came from his table. This was a severe and risky test. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. And we can find this in Daniel chapter 1 verse 8. Daniel was brought into favor of the prince of the eunuchs by God. And even if he risked his life, he accepted Daniel's request to give him and his friends 10 days to only have pearls to eat and water to drink, and that at the end of 10 days their appearance be compared with the appearance of the other children who would eat the king's meat and drink the king's wine. Then the Bible describes what the result was at the end of the given period of time. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Daniel chapter 1 verse 15. God gave Daniel and his friends knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. And when the king communicated with them, he saw that they were unique children in all matters of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them. He found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in his realm. The story continues when during several days the king had a very bad dream. He was worried about this dream, but he could not remember what it was. And so he asked the magicians and astrologers what it was and what was the meaning of it, but they didn't know. Daniel thought that he could know what it was and asked God for his help. He then informed the king what was the dream and what was the meaning of it. This was a prophetic dream that concerns all of us today, and it shows that we live at the very end of Earth's history. I encourage you to study it in the book of Daniel. To a great degree, Daniel and his friends' diet and prayer life gave them clearness of mind and a strong intellect. They were also favored and honored by God. God promises, "Them that honor me, I will honor." And we can read it in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 30. If we continue to read in chapter 3 of the book of Daniel, we learn that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were tempted but kept honoring God, and God protected them. When they refused to bow down to the golden image of Nebuchadnezzar, which would have broken God's commandments. We can find it in Exodus chapter 20. They were cast into the midst of an exceedingly hot burning fiery furnace. While they were in the fire, the king Nebuchadnezzar was extremely surprised as he saw one more man among them in the fire. He was an angel of light. I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. When the 3 friends came out of the fiery furnace, they didn't have any blemish. They didn't have the smell of fire, and their coats were not burned. A few years later, when Babylon was defeated by Medo-Persia, Daniel was once again well favored by the king of this time, King Darius. But men who were presidents with Daniel were jealous of him, and they knew that he was praying to God several times a day. Therefore, they influenced the king to sign a decree that any man who would pray to anyone else than the king would be thrown in the lion's den. Daniel knew about the decree, and even if he was tempted to stop praying or to hide, he kept praying with the windows of his chamber opened. Daniel was then thrown in the lion's den, and in the morning, when the king went to see how Daniel was, he said, "My God has sent his angel and has shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt." We can learn a lot from the character and the personality of Daniel and his friends to prepare ourselves for the end times. We can see from the Bible that history repeats itself. In the book of Daniel, prophecies are revealed. Prophecies that concern all Christians today. We live in the end times, and many in the world already face strong temptations. End times prophecies are fast being fulfilled. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which is the last book of the Bible, tells us about the hour of temptation. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Revelation chapter 3 verse 10. In the same verse, Jesus also assures us that those who keep the words of his patience will be kept. In these times of increasing trouble, we need to take Daniel and his friends as our example when it comes to diet and prayer, to strengthen our ability to resist temptation and to be favored by God. If you struggle with diet, remember that God can help you, and there are strategies that can be employed in order to adopt a new lifestyle. I talk about this in my book, The Bible Diet. In the description below this video, you will find a link to access it for free, or you can purchase the printed copy. If you like this video, you will also enjoy the one named The Most Effective, Sustainable, Easy to Stick to, Best Diet. I'll put a link to it down below. If you know someone who can be benefited by this video, share it with them. And remember that God wishes above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Until next time!